Tarbox, Marianne Wright, Bill Evans with the exclusive AccuWeather forecast, and the Eyewitness News team. Now, Eyewitness News.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Marianne Wright.
And I'm Edie Tarbox. Welcome to Eyewitness News at noon. A broader picture of Colin Ferguson is emerging in the wake of the massacre on the Long Island Railroad. And while police dig into Ferguson's past, it is time for healing for the victims of the shooting and for the railroad and its passengers. Behind the gates of the Nassau County Jail, Ferguson, who's been the target of several death threats, is now in solitary confinement. And aboard Long Island Railroad trains, passengers are voicing concern about safety. Questions about safety are also being raised by union members who work for the railroad. And a poignant scene at the Maryland station in Garden City, where flowers were placed in memory of the victims of Tuesday night massacre. Our coverage begins with Long Island correspondent N.J. Burkett live at the Nassau County Jail. N.J.?
Edie, he has been held here now for nearly 24 hours. Through it all, Colin Ferguson has said virtually nothing. He has had little or no contact with other inmates, and guards say he appears to be keeping to himself, at least so far.
Late yesterday, Colin Ferguson was placed in solitary confinement here for his own good. Officials say that over the past 16 hours, there have already been a number of death threats. Although it is not clear whether he got much sleep, Ferguson is said to have had a quiet night, and he is believed to have read the morning newspapers. Lieutenant Robert Anderson is with the Nassau County Sheriff's Department.
He was quiet throughout the night. When I called again this morning, they said basically he's been keeping to himself and at this particular point hasn't posed any problem. The only response that the officers have gotten from him at this particular point is when they've posed a question to him one way or the other.
Pertaining to his situation here.
Pertaining to how you doing, is everything okay, which the officers do from time to time, but there's been little or no response at this point.
Ferguson is being held in the jail's maximum security cell block, in the same building with other notorious inmates, among them Joey Buttafuoco and accused serial killer Joel Rifkin. But prison officials admit that the nature of the charges against Ferguson are so severe, he poses a unique security risk.
In his case, I certainly do suspect that he's not going to ever be allowed to go into population because of the nature of the crime.
For his own good, in other words.
For his own purposes, for his own protection, yeah.
At this hour, Ferguson has been served, we're told, a hot turkey sandwich with gravy. It is a meal he will eat in his cell. He is being held here at the Nassau County Jail without bail. Prison officials say, as you heard a moment ago, that he is expected to remain in solitary confinement indefinitely. And we are live this afternoon at the Nassau County Jail in East Meadow, Long Island. N.J. Burkett, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
Thanks, N.J. There are still many questions this noon about Colin Ferguson. Police say he was motivated by racism, that he had great hostility toward whites, Asians, and some blacks. But who is he? What is his background? Lucy Yang takes a closer look at the man held today without bail.
The 35-year-old defendant was born in Kingston, Jamaica. In 1987, he enrolled at Nassau Community College. He made the dean's list, but he also contested one of his grades, calling it racist, and dropped the course. He later transferred to Adelphi University, where he was kicked out within a year for disciplinary problems. In the late 80s, Ferguson worked for this alarm company, but left after a job injury. He received $25,000 in benefits and a final settlement, but just a few weeks ago tried to get his case opened again with workers' compensation.
He also filed a claim that he was being discriminated against because he had had a workers' compensation injury and nobody would hire him.
Although he does not have a conviction record, he was arrested last year for harassing riders on the subway. Following that, he signed this letter to Police Commissioner Ray Kelly referring to a, quote, racist Caucasian accuser, 2 racist Caucasian police officers, and a racist campaign against blacks. In Brooklyn, where he rented a one-room apartment in this boarding house, neighbors say he always kept to himself.
Sometimes you see him, he looked like a little weird or something, you know, because he always walking looking back like he a little paranoid or something like that.
As for all the victims who died so senselessly, Nassau County detectives say Ferguson so far has shown no remorse. In Mineola, Long Island, Lucy Yang, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Ferguson came to the United States from Jamaica in 1982 on a tourist visa. He became a permanent resident when he married an American citizen in 1986.
Since that massacre on the 533 train, there is increasing security concerns on the trains. In Garden City, where the suspect was captured after Tuesday night's bloody rampage, Commuters wonder how many Long Island Railroad police ride the trains, and the police union is asking questions also. Celeste Ford has more on that live from Penn Station. Celeste?
Edie, we are at Penn Station, and the union that represents the Long Island Railroad Police says you may see some of its officers patrolling this terminal. But since 1988, officers have not been assigned to ride the trains. The union says that's just one example of what's wrong with the railroad security, and it wants the system revamped. Poor security on the LIRR. That's the problem, according to the Patrolmen's Benevolent Association. They say it's not clear the massacre on the 533 train could have been prevented, but a greater police presence would have deterred it.
I feel that the person that took this train to a variety of colleges knew that he never was going to run across a cop, he was never going to see one there, and he felt the Long Island Railroad was a safe haven.
The police union wants the state legislature to triple the number of uniformed officers, creating the equivalent of the city's Safe Streets program. Right now, the railroad has more than 200 police officers, but the union says only 110 are on patrol. The railroad says officers are not always on the trains. The union says they almost never ride. Their primary duty is patrolling the stations.
We have told them time and time and time again that a disaster is begging to happen here.
The PBA does not think metal detectors on every train would be effective. Commuters riding the 533 train to Garden City last night were not convinced the railroad could have done anything more.
This was a purely random act, and nobody could predict it. I don't think anybody would have noticed this man particularly. He was quiet.
You can't have metal detectors in each and every station. You can't have luggage checkers or anything like airports. So there's really no way you can protect anyone on the trains.
The police union went so far as to urge commuters to not ride the train alone if they dare ride it at all. That union has been without a contract for more than 2 years now. The PBA president angrily denied the suggestion that his complaints are politically motivated. And we're live at Penn Station. I'm Celeste Ford, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Thanks, Celeste. Ordinary commuters became victims of the random shooting aboard the Long Island Railroad's 533 out of Penn Station Tuesday night. As of this hour, 5 people are dead, 20 others are hospitalized, 18 of them with gunshot wounds. 3 people are in critical condition. The shooting sent shockwaves all the way to the Oval Office, where President Clinton is stepping up his fight against crime. The president held a White House meeting with a number of mayors and law enforcement officials this morning, and we get details now from Andy Field at the White House. Andy?
Well, Marianne, the Long Island Railroad shooting did send a chill through every big city with public transportation. A lot of the big city mayors are right here at the White House on the North Lawn here. They met with the president early today. They gave him a laundry list of things they'd like the government to do. The president is passing that list on to Congress, and he says it's up to government to make all Americans feel safe again.
The American people are tired of hurting and tired of feeling insecure and tired of the violence, and it makes such a huge gap between what we say and what we do and how we want to live and how we're forced to live. And it's affected now so many more people beyond the immediate victims of crime. It's changing everyone's life in ways that are quite destructive. We have to move, and I think we're prepared to move.
And the president of the National League of Cities, newly elected, Mayor Sharp James of Newark, is here. He just got out of the meeting with the president. Mayor, what did you say to the president there today?
I think we need to declare crime as a national disaster so we can put funding up today to bring about meaningful program and the hiring of additional police. It's a national disaster. People are dying now. We cannot wait for appropriation authorization, which would take us into 1995. We need to do something now, Mr. President, and he certainly was sensitive to our issue.
And he said he's going to try to rush some of the money through to you.
He's going to look at the whole problem of violence in America, and he agreed that it deserves his attention, and it's a national priority.
All right, Congress gets back next month, and hopefully something will be done to help Newark and other cities that are desperately looking for some of the cash. We're live at the White House. I'm Andy Field, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
The rampage on the Long Island Railroad is fueling the call for stricter gun control measures by Brooklyn Congressman Carl Schumer. Colin Ferguson brought that weapon that he allegedly used to kill 5 people at a California gun store. The purchase was legal and included a 15-day waiting period. Schumer's plan would also require a license, though, for anyone who buys a pistol. In addition, it would mandate better record keeping by gun dealers, require stricter security at gun shops, and close loopholes that allow felons to regain the right to buy guns.
Mayor-elect Rudy Giuliani says the rising number of guns in New York has created a city of fear, and his plan for fighting crime will be a top priority in his administration. But the mayor-elect also says that no department is immune in a time of budget cutting, and the NYPD can expect some personnel reassignments in the coming months. The mayor-elect spoke at a breakfast meeting of political and business leaders.
Recapping the developments in the massacre on the Long Island Railroad, Colin Ferguson is now the target of death threats, and he is in solitary confinement, that is, at the Nassau County Jail. The railroad's union members are voicing concern about safety aboard the trains, and President Clinton says that he'll push for tougher laws against gun violence.
There's still much more ahead on Eyewitness News.
A major city crackdown. What happens to the money that goes into those parking meters? The Department of Investigation has an answer that will make you furious.
Also, a problem with Washington, D.C.'s tap water is forcing thousands of residents to stores to buy bottled water. We'll see what the problem is.
And later, President Clinton comes to the rescue when a Hanukkah candle sets a little girl's hair on fire. It's later on Eyewitness News.
Joining hands on the path to peace.
This is absolutely good business.
Can historic enemies turn years of pain into a future of promise?
Palestinians by nature tend to be very skeptical because we've been disappointed so often.
Plus, the children learn how to build hope from hatred.
Suddenly you have to wake up to this new reality. It's hard to think about it.
Watch Eyewitness News Magazine, Saturday at 7, right here on Channel 7.
Unforgettable, that's what you are. Unforgettable, though near or far. Unforgettable in every way, and forevermore, that's how you'll stay. That's why, darling, it's incredible that someone so unforgettable thinks that I am unforgettable too.
Cracker Barrel Cheddar. Another gold medal for this cheddar among cheddars. The 40th to date, awarded for that full cheddar taste that only comes from careful aging. Ah, but the biggest winner still is you. With Cracker Barrel Cheddar from Kraft, judged to be the best.
15 city workers are under arrest today in a parking meter scam. The Department of Investigation says the meter collectors removed the cylinders within parking meters, broke them open, and stole the quarters inside. Each meter holds approximately $60 worth of quarters, and investigators say about $1 million was taken over 2 years. And they say 5 more arrests are expected.
The problem in the nation's capital is the water. People can't drink it. Residents in the area are under a water alert. Last weekend's heavy rain washed sewage into the area's tap water, and people are now turning to bottled water. People in Washington, D.C. and neighboring Virginia suburbs are flooding stores to buy bottled water because their tap water isn't safe to drink. Water fountains at the airport and area hospitals are covered with plastic, but city officials are telling people to stay calm.
It's not an emergency. It's an inconvenience that we need to take to be extra cautious to not contract the disease.
Test labs discovered that water at this plant has high levels of human and animal waste. That waste can cause an untreatable intestinal disease, leading to nausea, diarrhea, and cramps. Drinking the water could even kill people with poor immune systems, like those affected with AIDS or who've had organ transplants. because many water systems nationwide are aging. A recent U.S. report indicates that unsafe water is more widespread than officials admit.
There has been an estimate that over 900,000 people get sick per year as a result of waterborne disease. Many of these stomach flus that are going around actually are going around from the water supply.
The EPA is warning people in the capital area to boil their water through the weekend. They expect the water to be safe again by Monday. This summer, thousands of New York City residents had to boil their water, their drinking water that is, after E. coli bacteria was discovered. Now, as was mentioned in our report, nationwide it's suspected about 900,000 people each year get sick from bad water, and of those, hundreds of people die from waterborne diseases.
President Clinton will try to calm the waters of the Middle East. The president will meet with Syria's President Assad in Geneva next month in an attempt to get talks between Israel and Syria back on track. Syria is still on the State Department's list of countries supporting terrorism, and the meeting is viewed as a diplomatic victory for Assad.
Well, we'll see if we're in for a win in the weather department.
Up next on Eyewitness News, we'll see what it's like outside now and find out what we can expect for the weekend. Veronica Johnson and the exclusive AccuWeather forecast is next.
You know, we don't like to drop names around here.
Yes, we do.
We really do. But our next show is filled with some of the biggest names in show business.
So we just had to tell you.
Coming up on Live, she's one of Motown's greatest. The legendary Diana Ross looks back on her illustrious career. Plus, you know him from Ghost, Batman, and many other great films. Actor Vincent Schiavelli cooks.
See what we mean?
Big. So big. So join us for Live. Tomorrow at 9.
Right here on Channel 7.
Why did Miss Liberty sail to New York Harbor? To be close to Nathan's Hot Dogs. Why did George Washington build his bridge in New York? To get to Nathan's Hot Dogs. Fact is, this town was built around the unique, robust all-beef recipe created by a man called Nathan over 75 years ago. No wonder so many supermarkets opened here, just so you could pick up a package of Nathan's, the hot dog that made New York famous.
Look, Daddy, somebody made me breakfast.
Somebody must think I'm special.
'Cause you got Raisin Bran?
Well, not just Raisin Bran, Post Premium Raisin Bran.
Premium is good.
That means we get not just lots, but hundreds of plump raisins.
That's why it tastes so good.
And these flakes have whole grain wheat and wheat bran.
You deserve it.
Somebody sure must think I'm special.
It's me and Mommy.
Post Premium Raisin Bran makes everybody feel like somebody special.
Right now, you can get a cellular phone free from 9X Mobile.
To get your free phone, just purchase 9X Mobile's 24-month Simplicity Plus plan at $39.95 a month. Your Simplicity Plus contract includes basic monthly service and up to 240 minutes of local talk time.
Bob, Tom, it looks like I'll be finished here early, so I can get to that audition.
You pay no activation fee with your free phone.
Listen, Lou, I can swing over there right now and sign the contract.
And you also get enhanced mobile mail, so you never have to miss another message.
Hi, honey. I'll be home before you, so I can pick up the kids.
So visit your local 9X Mobile Cellular Center or call this toll-free number now to order these great services for just $39.95 a month and get your free phone in time for the holidays.
Call 9X Mobile now for your free phone.
Credit check and security deposit may apply. Nice job.
Thanks. I'm exhausted.
A record fifth and final spacewalk by the Endeavour's crew to repair the Hubble telescope posed the greatest problems, but like the others, it was a complete success. And that challenge came when motors failed to unfurl 2 solar panels from the sides of the telescope, so astronauts Story Musgrave and Jeffrey Hoffman had to use their hands to pry them loose. The shuttle is set to return to Earth on Monday. What a fabulous shot that is.
See the clouds down below.
And that's how you get your weather from the
That's right.
satellites. That are,
From the satellite. And we're going to take a look at that in a minute because there are some few clouds. A few that are getting ready to roll into the area. They'll thicken up tomorrow, and we even have a chance of rain. Let's take a look at our current conditions now. We are holding, at 48 degrees. Well, first we'll go to Long Island. There are a few people walking around. The temperatures are quite warm. We are now 3 degrees above our normal high for today. 48 is the current temperature. Humidity 54%. Barometric pressure is now falling off. And folks, our winds are out of the south. It's these southerly winds that are now at about 10 miles per hour that is helping temperatures to warm up. We're due to hit about 52 degrees today. Here's a look at our record high 66 set back in 1966. And with that high pressure system, it doesn't extend wide, but it does extend far. Satellite shows just exactly where it is from Maine down toward the Carolinas. It's moving off the coast. Some cirrus clouds are beginning to funnel into the area, so by this afternoon we'll have the sunshine through some of those high clouds, and then they'll increase even more tonight. We're going for partly cloudy skies, but off to our west here, folks, this is a system that will move through tomorrow. Tomorrow late, bringing us rain. The rain will extend into Saturday morning, and we could see as much as 3/4 of an inch out of this system. But the system originated back on the west coast, and it's there that they have had a tremendous amount of rain. Another system coming into the Pacific Northwest now, 20 inches of rain was reported since Monday at Honeydew, California. So big dome of high pressure will stay over the area today. A few high clouds are in store. We can show you that now, up to 52 degrees, still warm. And keep in mind that tomorrow, with the high pressure system moving off the coast, around that high pressure center, we have southerly winds, so lots of moisture for this storm system to feed as it slams into it. And here's the low. This low pressure will come down on Saturday, and we could even see some flakes that will extend into Sunday. Your AccuWeather forecast then for today calls for a good bit of sunshine, but there'll be some increasing clouds. 52 degrees for a high temperature down tonight. Ooh, it'll be just a little chilly. 42, partly cloudy. So definitely, of course, you want to take along your coat. Tomorrow, 54, still warm, cloudy, but breezy afternoon showers. And over the next couple of days, showers on Friday, showers on Saturday at 50. But don't be deceived there, because our temperatures will be falling on Saturday. 38 and cool on Sunday. It'll be windy, and we'll have some snowflakes. Monday, Tuesday, next week, the temperatures begin to moderate quite a bit, and only a few clouds.
Any kind of accumulation with those snowflakes?
No accumulation, and the good thing is that it will come Friday night, Saturday morning, so maybe we'll do okay this weekend as opposed to the last two.
Hopefully. Let's keep our fingers crossed.
Right.
Thank you. Well, the Jackson family is weathering some tough times.
Up next on Eyewitness News, LaToya Jackson drops a bombshell about her superstar brother, and it sparks a family feud.
Plus, first a singer, then a mayor. Now Sonny Bono has his eyes on a new job. Find out what it is when we continue with Eyewitness News.
Christmas, Christmas, Christmas is what Treasure Island's all about. Christmas trees, lights, wreaths, and decorations for your whole house. A fantasy land of the most beautiful Christmas trees, all kinds and sizes. Just look at them.
And thousands of lights in all sizes and colors. Ornaments, wreaths, and decorations for everywhere in your house at Treasure Island's famous guaranteed lowest prices. A huge selection of crafts, gifts, and the most beautiful silk flowers. Always Treasure Island value priced.
Our kids' crafts department with all kinds of things to make and do. Picture frames and photo albums, wonderful wearable art, needlework kits and yarns, art supplies and crafts, miniature trees, painted village pieces, and the most fabulous music boxes you've ever seen. Treasure Island, a special store filled with Christmas trees, lights, decorations, and trim for the whole house. So come, bring the family to Treasure Island. It's a most unusual store.
You're gonna love this herbal tea from Celestial Seasonings. It tastes like a juicy mouthful of wild berries. Wild Berry Zinger. It'll tingle your tongue and tungle your ting. But it has no caffeine, so it's perfect for nighttime. It'll make your taste buds two-step, but your brain won't jitterbug. Cause it has no caffeine. Besides, this stuff will do your hair and take out the garbage. Just kidding. Celestial Seasonings Wild Berry Zinger. It has no caffeine, so it's a perfect way to end your day. Have a celestial night.
For the children of divorce, home for the holidays means which home and which parent.
We're trying to make the best of a situation that isn't the best, where we do have two holidays.
Our guests on the next Les Brown Show say the confusion isn't any fun.
They would be all excited, and then all of a sudden it was like, well, I thought we were supposed to be here on Christmas Day.
You can make the holidays happy for everyone. See how on the next Les Brown Show.
Watch the Les Brown Show tomorrow at 10 right here on Channel 7.
Trouble for Michael Jackson is coming from an unlikely source, his own sister. LaToya Jackson, who is estranged from her family, says her brother Michael did molest children. LaToya says more boys haven't come forward because she says they've been paid off, and she says that Michael showed her mother the checks he wrote to keep the boys silent.
Michael is my brother. I love him a great deal, but I cannot and I will not
be a silent collaborator of his crimes against small, innocent children.
LaToya says her mother tried to get her not to say anything, and LaToya's husband says that Michael threatened to have his sister assassinated if she talked.
Zsa Zsa Gabor and her husband top our people in the news this afternoon. A jury yesterday ordered them to pay an additional $1.3 million to actress Elke Summer for punitive damages. Zsa Zsa talked to reporters yesterday on the set of a play she's in. The couple was already ordered to pay Summer $2 million in general damages. Gabor and her husband told a German news magazine that Elke Summer is a Hollywood has-been. Singer Sonny Bono is on the comeback trail, not singing, but campaigning. Bono is running for California Lieutenant Governor. The 58-year-old Republican, who was once half of the Sonny and Cher singing duo, will announce his candidacy next month. Bono was also once the mayor of Palm Springs.
Here are some of the stories coming up on Eyewitness News at 5. The people who collect money from the New York City parking meters are charged with pocketing a whole lot of it for themselves. We'll have a live report. And 2 sequels from Joel Siegel. Garth and Wayne are back in Wayne's World 2. And Whoopi Goldberg returns in another sister act. Is the second time around as good as the first? All this and much more at 5.
Finally, a hair-raising experience at the White House. The Washington, D.C. Jewish Community Center brought a dozen children to the Oval Office yesterday to give the president a menorah to celebrate Hanukkah. But one little girl got too close to the lit candles and didn't realize her hair had caught on fire. Mr. Clinton yelled to the little girl and immediately started stroking her smoldering ponytail. The little girl was not hurt. She's so cute. She looks like she was more embarrassed than anything.
Oh, I'll tell you what, though. My husband's Jewish, and we have a menorah up, and you light the candles, and our little daughter, the kids are always drawn to fire.
Yeah, they are.
And they want to play with those candles, so you really have to be very careful.
In fact, the president, I think, moved it away, made sure Secret Servicemen put it away.
It's a good idea.
Scary. All
For
right.
the first family and every other one.
Really?
That's our news for now. I'm Edie Tarbox.
And I'm Marianne Wright for Veronica Johnson, and all of us here. Have a good day.
And join us again for Eyewitness News at 5, 6, and 11. We'll look for you tomorrow at noon. Bye-bye.